I actually started rapping when I was probably about like 13.
Are you the first rule breaker of the family?
Pessimist side of me will say that it's not going in a good direction.
So why rap music?
I should have known my audience and stuck to just doing what was working for me. What does making it mean?
You're doing a lot of sacrifices to be in a position that you are.
10 ways to sort your life out.
There is no quick way.
Bro, just leave me alone.
There's not one single answer to life.
Artists have never really been paid fair. Streaming definitely doesn't pay artists fairly.
Share your vision.
Right, you want a 2-minute 30 song max. Sometimes people try and tell me I should have these set targets or goals or whatever. Quality of the life suffers for the quality of the art.
Have you done something in the past that you think that I'm never gonna do that again?
That's a very good question, you know. Don't like make a song and then release it straight away. You gotta do the not glamorous bits as well as the glamorous bits. If you're promoting music, Instagram knows.
It's in a skill set for itself.
What's the thing at the moment? What does the algorithm want? Be in a position where I could get paid to just make music full time. To be honest, rap's probably not my plan A.
Hello everybody, we're here today with another great musician. Everybody, Jamie Broad.
Nice.
How's it going, man?
I'm good, you know, you?
Thanks
Doing
very
well?
much. Thanks for coming.
No
to the
problem.
show.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on the podcast. So Jamie, tell me about yourself. Tell me, when did you start the journey of being a musician?
Well, a long time ago. In terms of, I actually started rapping when I was probably about like 13, something like that.
13.
Like maybe even a bit younger. But in terms of actually being a musician, like as in an artist releasing music, kind of goes in a few stages for me. And I kind of always associate them with technology. So there was like the early sort of MySpace age when I was first sort of recording stuff at home with like a little SM58 mic that I'm sure everyone's had at one point and stuff like that, and using GarageBand, sort of making tunes at home, and then like this was the days of Bluetooth and sending stuff around like that, and then sort of going into making like CDs and stuff like that and going out to shows and giving them out, and then kind of now is like the streaming era. So I feel like I've had like different, because I've been around a while, I've had like different phases of music, and it always seems to align with like technology in terms of how I remember it.
So why rap music?
Mainly just because I love the music. Like I just when I was a kid fell in love with how rappers could use words, and I just kind of thought to myself like I want to do that. So that's why for me, just because I think it's a really powerful form of music, and I think rap as a sort of linguistic device is a powerful tool of sort of self-expression, really.
Are you the first rule breaker of the family, or is music?
Oh well, I mean, like I remember doing Yellow Submarine with me nan in karaoke when I was a kid. So like, we'd not really got like any musicians in the family, but like
you're the first
my family likes to sing along. Like if you come round to ours or whatever, people will be singing. So like, yeah, there was always music on in the house when I was growing up. Very musical house in that sense. But no one's like an artist or a musician or anything like that. But like, artists in other ways. My mum is an art teacher. My dad was a graphic designer and stuff like that. So I come from an artistic family, just not musically artistic necessarily.
Yeah, so you have those like creative mindsets in your family.
Yeah. Very much encouraged to be creative when I was growing up. Yeah.
You know, when you start like a career in the earlier stages, we're not really sure, should I do this? Should I pick something to do aside? Or even like after doing it for years and years, we still have those doubts.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And we think, okay, should I go for something that gives me more tangible stuff, the money or whatever, that I can see the result quicker, rather than just working in this craft for maybe 20 years, that I might not be able to get somewhere that I have in my mind as a vision. So have you faced those moments? Yeah,
definitely. I think every artist has them, and I think it's sort of wrapped up in what society's idea of making it is. Because years ago, and I have spoke about this elsewhere, but like it was a real lesson for me of kind of having to go, what does making it mean? And making it for me, I had to realise, was like when I was a kid, I used to love rapping. I used to love writing raps. So when I was doing that, I didn't think anyone would ever listen to my music. So for me, I had to sort of reassess at a certain point back a number of years ago and just go, because I think I was almost ready to stop. And I was like, you know what? No, as long as there's some people listening, and as long as I'm enjoying it, then I've made it. I'm happy. Yeah. And I think just finding that happiness, that sense of truth for yourself is making it really. Yeah.
So, Jamie, tell me, do you have plan B?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, rap's probably not my plan A.
Why not?
I've been doing rap for a long time. I'm not necessarily thinking that I'm going to be huge. I would love to make a living off music and be able to just... but to an extent, I already have done that. So, like, for me, music's always going to be part of my life. I'm always going to be rapping and writing for as long as it feels natural to me. But I don't know if I see it as, like, plan A, as in, like I'm not 50 Cent, I'm not trying to get rich or die trying. You know what I mean? I'm just doing me.
No, I like that, because I think, especially if you look at the artist on top of the charts, music is not... Don't get me wrong, music is one of the businesses that they do.
Okay.
You know, they're into branding, they're into products, they're into the business of the music rather than just being an artist. There's nothing wrong with being an artist, but being an artist is just one of the things that they do. I think it's a good way to look at it, you know.
Thank you, It's definitely helped me. It's been a refreshing way of looking at it, I definitely felt like that was the case for me. And I mean, when I don't think, apart from for maybe a couple of years, I've ever really had it like with music where I'm like, I'm pursuing this to try and like become a music artist, as in on a professional level. It's always been more of a side hustle, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
So I did have a few years where I was like that, but like, I wouldn't say, I've never really categorized it like plan A, plan B, although for some people that might be helpful. Like,
there is that ultimate goal that you would have musically, or
musically,
even personally.
Or
even personally.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just think it's got to be happiness. That's the thing. So like, whatever I'm doing with life, I want to be satisfied with it. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I want to be able to look myself in the mirror and say, yeah, I can answer to myself. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, as I said before, musically, I love making music. So I'd love to be in a position where I could get paid to just make music full time. But I know then as well, knowing my personality, if I was doing that, I'd also then be thinking, wouldn't mind doing this as well, or that as well, or this as well. And that kind of goes back to what you were saying before about artists who think a bit more holistically. And yeah, that's I think that's becoming more common, isn't it? You know, like you're saying, the rappers I grew up listening to, a lot of them now are like the moguls of the industry, and you know, they're starting record labels and signing people and that sort of stuff. And that was happening back when I was younger, but like, I suppose you become more aware of it as you get older.
I think it's always been like this, but with social media era, it's been more exposed.
You see it.
You know, you see it more that like all these artists, they're not into just music, they're into a lot of other stuff.
I feel like you have to now though, don't you?
Yeah.
Like that's what the sort of like social media era is doing. It's trying to expose you know, every part of the artist's journey. So you don't just release a song now and it's like, but this is the finished product. The way the industry is designed is they want to see the build up to it as well, and they want to watch that all through their cameras. So when you go to the studio, you need to be live streaming that you're there, and you need to be, and like, I don't do this enough because sometimes I quite like to keep the creative process a bit more private, just my thing. But then you do see like, and credit to people who have the energy to do this, but they're just constantly on, and every time they go somewhere, it's like they're live streaming it. If they're in the studio, they're posting pics and videos from the studio session. Like me, I'm just not I'm not locked up. I'm thinking of making the track. I'm not locked in enough on the process of it. But I feel like now there's it's the social media side of it is pushed in a way where we have to not just promote the final product, but ourselves as an artist and also the creative process along with it.
It's in a skill set for itself, you know.
100%.
I think it's in a skill set. Some people think it's just posting online. I think there is a lot more.
There's a real skill to it. It's creativity in itself.
Absolutely
it is, and that's part of the brand You know what I mean? We're no longer just a brand in terms of our music. I mean, it's always kind of been this way, but I feel like more of our lives are exposed now than ever before. And people expect more, right? You know, like with, I don't really follow celebrities or like watch them, and I'm not really into that sort of thing. But like, it's mad that you've got these massive stars who like really want privacy in some respects, and definitely deserve it, by the way, that you know. But then on the same hand, every part of their life is documented through the phones to millions of people that they're watching it, and that,
Tell me about some of the struggles that you have and you had maybe before.
Well, I mean, that's one definitely we were talking about. You know, I'm quite self-critical, but I'm not great at the whole branding. Maybe not branding, but like, because I don't want to talk about it like I'm a... but because I'm not a product, right? But like, you know, it's I'm not great at the sort of self-promotion stuff. So I have a thing where like I'll put a link up for new music, and I'll be like, this is brand new out, and then maybe next week I'll say brand new out, and then next week I'm like, right, everyone's seen that now. But they haven't. There could be people that like have released stuff before and then just not really promoted it, because I assume that it's gone out to everyone who would have seen it, but that's not really how it is. So I need to get better maybe at not, like, I think I'm annoying people if I'm constantly just going on about new song out. But like, maybe that's a struggle I have. Maybe I just need to get over it and post me links more. Just watch people. If you're watching this now, just I might only share it once. Just go back, look, you'll find it.
Sometimes we're very in our head, and when we post something online, we think by our own expectation in our own head, we think that everybody's seen it because I posted once. You know, but that's not the way it works, you know?
Yeah. If you're promoting music, Instagram knows, and they don't want you to leave the site. So you'll see like, it happens all the time. Like, I'll put a story up or something, and I'll have like 400 odd people watch it, or so, you know, something like that. And the next day I'll put something up about a song, and the views, it's reached about like 39 people. And the same thing happens on Facebook, and they know you're trying to promote something, and it's meant to be a personal social media account, so they don't want you to promote it as a business one. Otherwise, they want you to pay for a business page or whatever it is, or do those ad things where you have to spend money for it to advertise and reach a bigger audience or whatever. So like, it's not just us, is it? It's the actual algorithms are designed sometimes to like limit what you're posting, or the reach of it anyway.
I know what you mean. Has social media helped you to be able to reach a broader audience?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, you're following a musical career, and you're at the same time you're working as well.
Yeah, man, always working. Yeah, we got to pay the bills somewhere.
That's it. I agree 100%. Like, somebody looks at you from outside and say, oh, okay, just following a musical career, you're making a lot of money, you're performing and doing this and that.
Definitely not making a lot of money off the music. No chance. But
just imagining and assuming that you're doing things easily, but you're doing a lot of sacrifices to be in a position that you are.
Yeah, I think, you know, you were saying before about, you know, people who might be like 15, 16 just going into this. I think it's important that they know about sacrifice. Like, you do have to sacrifice things if you want to put your music out there, even at a basic level. If you're going to go studio and release a music video or something like that, you're going to have to pay for it. So you're going to need money in your pocket to do it.
Of course.
So that means, and I heard, there's a great line by a rapper called Evidence when he says, my music and my graft are living separate lives. One gets me paid, the other's paying the price. And there's this idea that Oscar Wilde says as well, I think it's Oscar Wilde anyway, the quality of the life suffers for the quality of the art. So like, anytime you're doing one thing, you're not doing the other thing. And I've definitely been in those positions before where you're, and this is going back in the day, but like, I was working jobs to pay for studio and music videos, etc. And a lot of that was this idea then of like, I don't have time to work on music because I'm trying to get the money to do music. So it becomes this weird paradox, and you have to be so disciplined with your time, and you have to be sacrificial because maybe, you know, can't just go out and get that new whatever you want because you put that money aside for studio. But the biggest thing I'd say, biggest bit of advice I'd give younger artists, and I did this myself a long time ago, was like almost open a separate bank account. What you make off money, what you make off music, if you can, save as much of it. Like, I get people who've got rent bills, all that, but save as much as you can off your music, put it into that separate account, and then eventually you'll be self-sustaining. I had many years in music where I was just, the music would pay for the music. So if I did a show, paying for studio time, video, whatever. And that's how you should be, really.
How do you network?
That's a very good question, you know. I'm not always great at that either, in the sense that I sometimes find it uncomfortable to rely on other people, in the sense that, like, if I'm gonna
let you down, or
even if I let them down. So if I'm gonna like go, say I've got a song I want to work on and stuff like that, I don't want to be waiting around for people. I just want to get the song done when I'm ready to get it done.
Sure.
Or I want it to be done my way. And this isn't to say I've never collaborated with people, because I have, but like, I'm terrible for like, really bad for this. Like, people will send me songs and then I'll start writing it, or I'll forget, basically. So this is a hint, by the way. If you've sent me a song in the past and I owe you a verse, get on me, because it's nothing personal. Man might have just forgotten, you know, and that's how it goes. But in terms of networking, I can do it. But sometimes I find them conversations a little bit hollow, in the sense that it's like, the conversation is very much, I'm trying to get something out of you, you're trying to get something out of me, and I get it, but it makes the dynamic a bit transactional sometimes, and I don't always work the best in that. I'd rather sort of develop a bit of a relationship with someone, and yeah, especially when it comes to making music. So like, I've got people who probably have got on me for years, saying, can we do a track, can we do a track? And then I meet them in person, and then I'll do a track with them straight away. And it's not like even a conscious thing, but I look back on it and go, wait a minute, what? But it's just because I've got to know them a bit better. Do you know what I mean? I get to know them a bit, and then it feels more natural.
Have you done something in the past that you think that I'm never going to do that again?
Yeah, like some of my songs. I've released songs, and then this must be true of every artist though. Or if this isn't true for every artist, then you've either not been doing music long enough, or you've got well too big of an ego and too much of a, but like, obviously people look back and I look back on songs and I go, I'm not really feeling that anymore. Yeah. Or like, I've recorded it and I've recorded it too early. It could have done with another rewrite. So I could have tightened it up a little bit. So yeah, I definitely got regrets in that sense. Yeah.
That's in the process of making that progression, you know?
You're right, yeah.
Until I make that first, I can't really call it mistake, but until I make that song in this particular case, I wouldn't be able to get to another one and another one and another one and another one. And I see like my so-called flaws and mistakes to be able to learn from it. It's the same concept of trying to walk for the first time. The first time it's not gonna be.
You're gonna fall over.
You're gonna fall over. The first time you're trying on a bike, you're gonna fall over. Ever again and again until you be able to like have a smooth drive. And I think that's part of the process, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's kind of how I write my songs as well. So I like it's very rare that I write a song first time. I'll write more than I need, and then I go back and I change it. And 90% of writing, I think, is editing rather than actually the first thing that you write. My advice is just get it all out on the page, and then you can tighten it up.
Refine it.
But don't, like, a song's not going to drop from heaven fully formed. You've got to graft. You've got to work at it. You've got to chip away the bits that aren't. And it's not to say that that's never happened. I have written songs before, you know, them wonderful ones where you write it in like half an hour and it's absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
Exactly as you wanted it. But it's very rare. Most of the time it's a messy, long process.
There is that fine line that separates a professional musician to a musician that follows music as a hobby?
I think the line can be blurred, because there's always that stage when someone who's trying to make it professional has to go through a little bit of an experience of like that transition bit from a hobby to it being a professional thing is tough. And I did it a couple of years ago, and then kind of had to transition it back to being a hobby. And that takes us back to kind of the first question you were asking when I was talking about happiness. And I had that moment where I was like, it was transitioning back to a hobby rather than being a professional career. And I was like, well, should I stop? But no, I didn't, because I was like, as I said, I'd got so much love for doing it that I couldn't really stop, and it was still success for me was that anyone would listen to my music kind of thing.
A lot of people actually say that they say when your fun, enjoying hobby becomes a job, it takes fun out of it. It takes life out of it.
Yeah.
It's not fun anymore. But I think maybe the challenge is, how can I make that fun hobby thing, in this case obviously a musical career, into a career, but at the same time keep the fun? How do you think we can do it then?
I think it's just being mature about the fact that it's a job. So if you're making music at that professional level, then it's a job, and that means there's going to be days when it's not fun. But I also think if you are someone who does it as a hobby, there's also times when it's not fun. But if you want to do it, the times when it is fun, that's when you have to do the bits where it's not fun in order to have the fun bits. So like you have to, maybe you don't want to write this song, you've spent ages on it, but then when you finally crack it and you go to the studio to record it, it's fun. But you have to go through that hard time first. Or like, for example, you might play 2 or 3 shows where there's 30 people in the audience, but then you might play one where there's like 200 and the vibe's amazing. And so you gotta do the not glamorous bits as well as the glamorous bits. And like, this is relative, right? Because I'm saying 30 people, 200 people. For some people it'll be like 200 people in a show, oh, that's a small audience, and then they'll play to like 15,000 people. So it's like, it changes, right? It's relative for each person.
If you weren't a musician,
yeah,
who would you be? What would you do? If music didn't exist, if rap didn't exist, and there was one thing that you would be able to pick to do for the rest of your life, what would that be?
I think I'd still be a writer. So I'd write poetry, stories, whatever. So I kind of started doing that before I was doing rap when I was a little kid, and I still do it off and on. Like I would be a writer in some respect, even if it wasn't music.
Tell me about COVID time. How was
music?
Interesting
time.
How did it affect you?
Some people did really well out of it. For me, I was kind of already busy with some other stuff. So like, lockdown, I had an album called Streams that was like pretty much ready to go. So I was quite fortunate in that respect. Well, I say fortunate, but also though, this is another thing that I give as advice to younger rappers or someone just starting. It's like, stack songs. So don't like just make a song and then release it straight away and then be like, where's the next song coming from? Because even if you want to be a professional rapper, a label's going to come and go, okay, yeah, we'll take you on. Where's your songs? And this is back in like 2014 or something. This exact situation happened to me. I got a management deal, something I've been grafting for ages. And I put all these songs out, I had this management deal, and then they were like, okay, right, so we're ready for the next batch of songs. And I didn't have any songs. Didn't have anything there. So stack music, get your music stacked, have it there ready, and you should have loads of unreleased material that's sitting there. Work in advance of yourself, essentially. So when lockdown came, I had an album there called Streams. It was all done, all ready to go pretty much. So I put it out over lockdown. And
thinking ahead of time is very important.
Not that I was predicting COVID or anything like that, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I had the music stacked. I had the music stacked, and because of that, I was able to adapt. And then, since then, I actually haven't released an album. So that's my next thing, because I know a lot of people do singles now, but I'm kind of working towards some singles as well, but I'm kind of working towards an album that I've been working on for a while, which will be like the next one.
So what's your strategy right now in terms of releasing songs?
Okay, so I do a lot of reading of like, and I think other people do this, but you know, you try and like work out what's the thing at the moment, what does the algorithm want? And for a long time, it was this idea of, right, you want a 2-minute 30 song max. It's got to be just a song, and then you release another song, and then another song, and one per month even if you can. And this is how you get your listeners up on Spotify, and you need to collab because then you go onto their page, and if you build up your listeners and all. And I think back in it must have been last year or the year before, I released like 3 EPs, so it was essentially like I think 7 singles or something like that, the way I did it. Either way, I was trying to play the algorithm game a little bit, and they didn't do as well as this album that I was saying. And I realised that I'd missed out the first rule, really, which is know your audience. So my audience is probably people who've been with me for a long time, and they're not necessarily into the way the algorithm pushes songs. They do like albums, because I like albums. So when I was growing up, I would go and buy CDs and buy albums, and I love the concept of an album and actually getting a whole body of work from an artist that represents like this period in their life, this time. And the songs like have this similar theme or sound. So I like that, and I realised that I kind of went away from that because I was trying to play the algorithm game, where really I should have known my audience and stuck to just doing what was working for me, which was releasing albums. So that's what I'm planning to do next. A couple of singles as well, build up some anticipation, but yeah, there's an album coming which I've been working on.
Tell me, Jamie, about the future of music.
I mean, the pessimist side of me will say that it's not going in a good direction, in the sense that the most volatile part of any musical process is the artist itself. So if you can remove the artist, record labels can make music, people can consume music, and you have nice, neatly packaged things and jingles that you can listen to. The tricky part's the artist, right? And also
with AI, right?
Yeah, so that's kind of where I was going with it, yeah, is that artists have never really been paid fair. Streaming definitely doesn't pay artists fairly. But I can only see it really going in that direction of it becoming even less fair for the artists. But the thing I will say is that humans are infinitely creative, and especially people who work in creative industries like music. And we've spoke earlier today about how social media has been utilised in a really creative way by artists. So I think that although there's this pessimist side that I'm saying, where it's like the artist will be less and less valued, I think there's also a side where they'll find some way around it, some way of kicking back against the industry and the constraints that there are there for them. They'll find a creative way around it. What that is, I don't know, and that probably means that I won't be at the forefront of it, but maybe it'll come to me.
It's really hard actually to crack the code and see what's going to happen in the future of music.
Because that's what the best artists do, right? They either set the trends if you're someone who's a big artist, or most times those big artists actually watch what's bubbling up underneath the surface, and then they jump on and sort of find a way to insert themselves into that market. So I'm thinking people like Drake, Kanye, that's what they've done well for a long time. They've looked at what other people are doing that's starting to be successful, and it's like a surfboard, right? They get on the wave just as it's getting big, and then they also help make the wave bigger because they've got a big name. But that's what the most successful artists do. They're right at the cutting edge of things, and they get in there just as it's starting, and then help push it to something bigger themselves.
Sure. Jamie, tell me, what do you do to look after your mental and physical health?
Physical health, the gym, football, stuff like that. I'm well into all that stuff. I'm constantly, I like doing, I like lifting weights. I like doing HIIT classes, and I like running, and I love playing footy. So and then I think in terms of physical health, that impacts on mental health. I feel better because exercise gives me a sort of structure around which to plan my life sometimes as well. So that helps me mentally. You know, it's a reason to get out of bed in the morning, get up early before work, or to, you know, so I think the two go hand in hand, really. I think the two go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Hopefully alive. Yeah, and just happy and content. And just, yeah. I think just, as I say, as long as in 5 years I can look myself in the mirror and say, yeah, I'm happy with what I've done, then yeah.
Absolutely, very important.
I say this in a new song actually, which isn't out. I'm not about short-term goals, I'm about long-term growth. But then a kind of paradox with me is that I definitely don't focus on short-term goals. I'm a long-term guy. But then the long term isn't always defined. I have a vague idea and then I refine the vision as I get closer to it.
Absolutely.
So that's my sort of approach to life. So I get this like, sometimes people try and tell me I should have, I should have these set targets or goals or whatever. And like I do, but they're flexible. I'm not going to kick myself if I don't hit exactly what I want to hit. Like they're flexible, they change and they adapt. And because that's life. So I don't get too wrapped up sometimes in like, people are always trying to, I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of the sort of self-help genre. It's massive at the moment. Everyone just reads self-help books or they want 10 ways to sort your life out and 18 ways to do this. And why did he always pick a number? It's just a random number. It's just because it's marketable. But yeah, that's a story for another day. But that's so random. Yeah. Either way, everyone loves these books. And then they try to tell you that that's how you should organise your life. And I get people saying, oh, you should do these 10 things that are going to help you get to this. Nah, just leave me alone. Let me just do my thing. I've got my goals, but they can change. And I think long term, but I also keep the short term in sight. So that's how I kind of do things. It's not. I don't think it has to be some written out, orchestrated, planned thing. I think just keep the long term vision in mind and work on the short term.
As you probably can see it in Google searches, 10 best ways or 3 best ways. How can I get rich quick?
Yeah.
There is no quick way.
You
have to work hard. You have to do those things. There's not one single answer to life, or there's not one single answer to be a better musician or a better person. It's just, as you said, it's like a blurry picture that it starts to clear up as you go along this path and this journey.
Preach, bro. You're right. Yeah.
We usually ask everyone to promise one thing that you gotta do in your own life that benefits you in the future, and one thing that you gotta promise that you gotta do for somebody else as a good deed.
One thing I'm gonna do that I used to be really good at. I wouldn't say I've got bad at it. I've just got less intentional about it, shall we say. But I used to be really good at back in the day, I was a rapper from Liverpool, and when I was coming up, there weren't many. And not many people kind of reached out to me to help me, but some people did. And so I was always like, I'm going to make sure if I see a new Liverpool rapper, I'm reaching out and I'm going to say, bro, I'm feeling your stuff. Need any advice, let me know. Or you want help with something, let me know. Or even just you want someone to be in your corner, just being your fan, I'm there. And I'll go to shows I'm not performing at and support people because I genuinely care about the music scene in Liverpool, and especially the rappers and the artists in it. I've got love for them, but now there's that many that I can't keep track of it. So I'm gonna be more intentional about actually reaching out to these people and saying you've got my support. I'm behind you because I am.
Brilliant.
So that'll be my one thing for other people then.
Okay.
And then what was the other thing? Was it something for me?
Something for yourself that you gotta promise. There might be something that you've been meaning to do for a while, that you've been delaying it or postponing it for whatever reason. Yeah. You're gonna promise yourself because it's gonna stay on the internet for a long time.
This is the record. Yeah. Okay. So mine'll just be to actually start releasing some music again, because it's been. I try to not go more than a calendar year without releasing music. I made that vow to myself a long time ago, and I've kept it up. But what are we in September now or something?
Yes.
So the year's drawing to an end.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put something out. So that'll be mine.
That's good. Brilliant.
Keep myself accountable. You made me say on camera about it. So.
That's it. Brilliant. But that's what it is. That's why a lot of the times they say share your vision and your dreams with others, because it makes you to be accountable in front of yourself. So it forces you to go forward and work harder on your own dreams. You know? Jamie Broad, tell me 3 things that you're grateful for in your life.
Music, my cats, and my health.
Brilliant. That was quick, actually.
Yeah,
that was some kind of a record, I think.
Do you reckon?
In the show.
Okay, all right. I'll have that. Yeah, I'll have that. Yeah, I'll take that then. I've been quick.
Last words.
I think just sorry for it being a while since I've done some stuff, and I'm kind of I've got plans. As I say, I've been stacking music. Music's been there, stacked. Now's the time for it to start coming out.
Everybody, Jamie Broad, thanks very much.
Thank you for having me. Nice one. Thank you.
To the show, I appreciate it. Everybody, I'm gonna put all the links to his social media down in the description. Make sure you go down there, click on those links, stream his music. Make sure you go to his social media and social platforms and give him a follow.
Yeah, nice.
Thanks very much again for coming. It was a pleasure to have you, Jamie, and I hope to see you in the future as well.
Thank you for having me. Nice one. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.